Hey everybody, it's Mike Venus La Soul and I'm back. And this is gonna be twofold, right? So talking about the Packers. Now, first and foremost, the media, I don't think these people in the media, even pro players, really watch the game or really are honest about teams. It's all about narratives, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna I'm gonna go in on that. And then the second thing is why I believe the Packers could go really deep into the playoffs or possibly go to the Super Bowl and win it. And yes, disclaimer, I'm a Packers fan, but I'm gonna back this up with history and facts. So first and foremost, let's get out the way about the media. I don't think a lot of these people that's in the media should be really like talking on the Packers, because throughout the years watching sports and watching the ESPN and stuff, like they favor whoever they favor, Fox, whoever covering sports. And a lot of them, even if they have pro players that, were either Hall of Famers, Super Bowl champs, or just average players that were backups but played in the league, commentating or analyzing, they're not really honest. It's kind of like whatever's the hot team, the narrative, they jump on and they glaze. And it's really disgusting. Because, let's be honest, like, you have great players, but football is not about players, like a single player. It's about a team. It's a team sport. This is not baseball. I mean, hell, I wouldn't even say baseball. This is not even like track or, what's another? It's not like track. Track is like individual sport. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, it's all about a team. It's about having chemistry. It's about having a good scheme, good coaching, good players to execute those schemes, and about an attitude about winning that leads to championships, right? And the media always want to isolate and make it about a single player, like, oh, this team is great because of this wide receiver, or this team is great because of this quarterback, or this. Yes, they're great, but it's also it's the sum of the whole. They're great because they have a good running game. They have a good protection, good solid line, and I don't believe a lot of the ones that are non-players understand Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Some of the females that be on there. And I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just being honest. I don't think you really understand the game. Now, I played the game. I played several different positions, but I gave it up because, number one, the school I went to, the football team, was ass. The attitude of the players was ass. I just chose to do something else. I did track and field. And I did, outside of school, I did ice hockey and soccer. I didn't even try to play for the football team. I did my freshman year and then I left it alone. This is in high school. And just because of the people on the team, I didn't care for the attitude of the coaches or the team. And plus it was a lot of politics where the school I went to Fort Mill High. So the team didn't really get good until my class graduated because those niggas was on some other shit. But I played defensive end. I played middle linebacker. I played tight end, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, punter, kicker, right? And corner. So I done played different levels of different sides of the ball, right? Now, I understand how the game's supposed to be when I watch it. I might start doing videos talking about like what I see and what I like, contrary to what the media say, because I feel like a lot of them, they just glaze off of the narrative or they shun off the narrative, but without actually watching the game, they're just going off of stats or whatever their analyst person gives them, because they're not really watching. They have other shit they doing, right? So with the Packers, like, it's great that we won 2 games on a short week, Sunday to Thursday. against two solid teams. Now, no disrespect to Detroit, no disrespect to Washington. They are good teams. I know they didn't have great games against us, but that's because we're good. And the media slept on us. Like, when we changed our coordinator last year, the defense was different. We became a top 10 defense, a solid defense. We had a solid offense, right? Now, we're not traditional in the sense that we have a number one wide receiver or tight end, and we have like, a number one or, quarterback and stuff like that, but we're a solid team overall. It's still a few places I feel like we can clean it up, special teams, kicker. But outside of that, we're a pretty solid team. So to be surprised that we won the first two games against two good teams that were solid last year and solid this year is not a surprise to me, right? Now, let's talk about the offense. Number one, the offensive line is young, solid. Jordan Love barely get touched. Since he started, he's barely been touched, barely been rushed. So at times when he does get pressured, he tends to make some mistakes, but he tends to clean that shit up. And he's a streaky quarterback, but he's solid. He still don't get no respect. Josh Jacobs, an amazing runner. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he left the Raiders, that's a dysfunctional organization. But when he left the Raiders and he went to the Packers, a lot of people thought he was washed, because he was a few years from having the rushing title. But he's a solid running back. A slept-on running back, even in the great running backs that came out of Alabama, right? Our tight ends, they didn't go to D1 schools, but they're performing. The wide receivers, hell, a lot of them wasn't even like top-tier receivers in their conference or even in their division, but they had something that we noticed that was good. And we have great coaching. Like, I don't know why Matt LaFleur is not mentioned as Coach of the Year, right? Which he should get. Our defensive coordinator, that was a great decision for the Packers to go get Jeff I don't want to mispronunciate his last name, start with an H. You know what I mean? Hafley, right? But a lot of people don't know his history. He was part of the teams when the 49ers had a dominant defense. He went, coached in college, and then came to the pros, right? Totally changed our defense. Our defense was amazing from John Barry, that guy, his defense, to what we had last year. And then we have the same players, literally, from last year playing in the same scheme, playing for the same coordinator, doing the defense this year. Now, if you understand, when he was coaching or part of the teams that were of the 49ers, they had an amazing front seven. And this is what I think the media don't understand. And I'm going to watch if y'all try to bite off of what I'm saying. All right? Having a solid front seven talking about your linebacker core and your defensive line. You can have a mediocre to sub defensive back or secondary by just having a dominant front seven, elite front seven. The Packers have an elite front seven. We have two linebackers, Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, right? And I'll even throw in McDuffie, right? Right? At the linebackers. They played together all last year. Quay Walker has some injuries, but for the most part, he's back. He's solid. And he was solid too. But he feels more comfortable in this defense. The linebacker core is elite. The defensive line, everybody played together outside of Michael Parsons. He got brought in. He's learning the defense, but he's still being effective. And I want to compare this defense to the Carolina Panthers when they drafted Julius Peppers that year when they went to the Super Bowl. The only difference is that our secondary is actually better than the Panthers secondary of that year. But what do both teams have in common? They have an elite front seven. An elite front seven. The Panthers had Dan Morgan, Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers, was it Mike Rucker, Chris Jenkins, right? That was like their main core in the front seven. They had some other people I can't really think of right now, but they were solid. They stopped the run, they tackled, and they got pressure on the quarterback, and they actually got sacks. But the main thing, they got pressure. The secondary was trash, but they made it to the Super Bowl. And their offense ran the ball. Old school football. And they had great playmakers on offense with Steven Smith and Muhsin Muhammad. And Jake Delhomme came in a little bit in the season because Garrard was the quarterback, but he got hurt. And they went all the way to the Super Bowl, and everybody was so surprised. But I was in Carolina, so that's all the games we watched. That's what came on local TV. And watching it, I was like, man, they're really good. I see the same similarities in the Packers secondary is far better with Xavier McKinney, the young guys, Williams and Bullard, and Valentine and Nick's been there, and they're playing very confident, right? But our front seven is elite. Vanessa, Micah Parson, Rashard Gary, right? Quay Walker, Adrian Cooper, McDuffie. What do I see that's similar? They get to the ball. You can watch both games, the highlights. You're gonna see no less than 4 get to the ball, and they're tackling. They're game tackling. They're shutting shit down. We face Gibbs, McGuffrey, the Detroit running back, Knuckles and Sonic, whatever the name they gave him. And we shut down Jaden Daniels. He couldn't run on us. That's like his way of getting out of plays. And we ran a lot of zone, and we spied him. And we was on his ass. So I'm not surprised that the team is that good. Now the season is still very young. This is why I said the media be glazing. But I really think the Packers, if they show up and perform very well against a whole slew of great quarterbacks and good quarterbacks. You got Dak. Dak is good, but he's not great. You got Joe Burrow, great. Lamar Jackson we got to play against, great. We got to play against Aaron Rodgers. I'm not sleeping on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. Great. Who else we got to play against? Jalen Hurts. We got to play against the Eagles again. We got to see Detroit again later in the year. So it's not going to be easy road for the Packers. But I'm very confident that the defense, the front seven, with our secondary, can be very dominant and really be very effective on shutting these guys down, or making it, if they don't shut them down, make it very difficult. Because the similarity between the 49er defense that the coordinator was part of, the Panthers defense when they went to the Super Bowl, when they had Julius Peppers and they had that amazing front seven, and the Packers, is that they get to the ball, no matter if it's a pass or run, they get to the ball carrier and they tackle. It was a lot of plays last night where they game tackled the ball carrier and kept them from crossing either the first down, to get first downs to keep them on the field. Because they were just, they hit and they stopped them. And they were constantly getting pressure on the quarterback. It doesn't always show up with stats. I think sacks is very overrated. It's really about pressures. Making the quarterback or the running back to hesitate just for a moment. And the other thing that we were good at is causing turnovers and then scoring on those turnovers, which is a major difference from last year. We did score decently on turnovers last year, but this year we've been very effective. And that is the thing that can drastically change the game, and also putting pressure and making the offense one-dimensional, where they no longer have the opportunity to control the possession or the clock, but to have to be forced to pass to catch up and score, which plays to our strength, especially when they have Parsons, Van Ness, and Gary and Wyatt on the field at the same time. And we don't even have to blitz that much. So, yeah, the media, y'all need to really step it up when it comes to analyzing these teams and understanding what you see from the past of great defenses or defenses that got teams to the Super Bowl. Complemented with our offense, we don't have a number one, but that's even more dangerous because all the wide receivers can run amazing routes, and they was torching great corners. Like Lattimore was getting cooked. Detroit secondary, they had Branch and Joseph, and they were getting cooked. So it's not like they're playing against a bunch of shitty defenses or mediocre teams that the Packers are scoring on. They're moving the ball. And we took a lot of big plays last night, which was great to see, because with those big plays and wide receivers, tight end, Tucker Kraft and them was getting open. The only thing that I'm mainly concerned about is injuries, how durable we can stay, and just keeping up this mindset that we are that team. We don't need the media to gas us, but chill with the glazing. It's a long season, and we have a tough schedule. So, I'm excited, and I'm glad to see more of this. So with that, I'm Mike Venus Lasso. Till next time, y'all be blessed. Mike out.